So for those that haven't seen the news, I did manage to destroy the gearbox on the Lotus at the Nurburgring, so it is currently sitting, looking a little bit sorry for itself, with no engine or gearbox. That was a 6-hour job on Wednesday to take note, Tuesday to take those out. It was Wednesday. There's the engine. Clutch and everything looks fine, so the vibration and banging noise isn't coming from there. So I've got the transmission up here. So I've never done one of these before, I've never taken one apart. I have seen some other people's YouTube videos, so I'm just going to follow the guidance on those and get started. So first thing is going to be taking off the top cap that covers 5th and 6th. Okay, so you remove all of the 12mm head bolts around the top cap. Okay, now all of those are undone, I'm going to get a lever and lever off this end cap. I have had it off before, and I have used Permatex rather than the Lotus sealant, so hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. And off she comes. That's just one of the plastic caps that covers in the end. And looking at this would suggest that the problem is not with 5th and 6th. It actually looks fine. So next thing is take the 2 circlips off the top of the shafts and then use a gear puller to pull the gears and bearings off those shafts. So I've taken the 2 circlips off, excuse the glass that's dropping and getting in my eyes, but I did actually find a very small fragment of what looks like gear. So that's going to be probably the first telltale of what's gone wrong. So next we need to take the shifter arm out, so the nut off the bottom of the shift weight here, and then you have to get this off the shaft, which is going to be fun. First we need to get the stud out that goes through, and then wriggle this whole contraption off the shaft so we pull the whole thing out that side. So I am probably going to do things off camera that I don't want to show you. Okay, so a bit of heat and a bit of hammering, and this pin is now free, so I can slide that off, burn my fingers in the process, reassemble it so I don't lose any nut of the washer. Okay, put it in my bin. Next up, remove these 4 bolts here, they're 14mm. So on the gun, put those in my bin. Need to remove the check bolt here, it's 22mm. Apparently it's not 22mm, bigger than 22mm, 24mm. Okay, put that in my bin, and we should be able to remove that end. Yep. Spring. Okay, so now you can remove your shifter completely, which comes out. That's that in my bin. Actually put on some rag to protect it. Okay. And then we need to get inside and push all of our shift rails fully up to lock the gears together for removal. So I just did that using a screwdriver, and when it's done it should look like, you can see in here, these 3 shift rails all the way up. Okay, so I'm now at the point that I need to pull 5th and 6th off the main shafts, so I've got a bearing puller kit that I'm putting together. This is just a laser kit from Halford's. We'll see how it goes. If it needs something better, then I may have to go shopping. Okay, so that's the puller mounted. It's mounted to the gear, and it's going to pull the gear and the bearing off together. Holding the box still is a challenge. I didn't want to get quite this up close and personal with the transmission, but it seems the best way to hold it. Okay, so at that point the bearing is free. There's a small spacer under that bearing, can't lose. And on my rag. So that's the first gear off, but every day is a learning day. Always do the smaller first, because the larger gear actually contacts with the bearing on the way out, so whatever I do, I'll be replacing that bearing. Okay, now for the other side. Bearing. No spacer on this side. And you can see the damage that I did, like an idiot. Just going to rest it on there while I get some rags so I can lay out all the components and remember exactly where they go. Okay, so I've also now removed the synchro for 6th. I now need to remove the shift key spring and the shift keys. So, just a small. That's the spring. Shift keys themselves are a little bit fiddly. Okay, there's the shift keys. Okay, so I'm now going to remove the 5/6 shift fork and the sleeve. This 10mm bolt. Okay, now the snap ring above the 5/6 shift hub, which has a special puller, so this may be the end of this video. But let's see how we get on. Okay. Don't lose the snap rings. I already used those. And now this is the bit where you need a special puller, because we need to bolt in these 3 bolts and then pull that 5/6 shift hub up and off. I'm going to see if I can get inventive with some of the stuff I've got here. Let's see. So I did actually manage to do that with a standard puller and got the 3 claws just in here. And so that is now off. And I should be able to get the 5th synchro. Fifth gear. So from what I've read, the 5th gear is a nightmare to get off. To start with, my puller has too much material on the bottom of the hook, so I've just ground a bit off 2 of them to actually get it under the gear. It's not in position, and I think heat is going to be the only way to get it off, so I'm going to warm it up and then try and pull it and see where we get to. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, I say that it needs heat, and I'm literally pulling it off by hand. Wow. How wrong was I? That's ridiculous. I've not even warmed it, I've not touched it. That's off. So now I'm going to remove the retainer plate and the snap rings on the middle bearings. Bunch of 12s.
in the bin. Okay, retainer plate is off. Snap rings around the outside of the bearings here need to be removed. Trying to use long nose pliers in reverse here. That's two. So I've just removed the snap ring from the end of the 3/4 shifter. I'm now going to take out the 5/6 and 3/4 check balls. So take the caps out. The spring. Actual balls, I can really use a magnet for. I don't have a magnet on me right now. So I'm going to roll them out. There's the two balls. Okay. So now I can take the reverse lockout bolt out. So reverse lockout bolt coming out. Next, let's go roll the tranny over and take out the 3 bolts in the bell housing. One of them again. Not wanting to play. Okay, and now I'm going to take out all the case bolts so that we can finally actually separate this transmission. Okay, so that's all the bolts out with a bit of heat and brute force. Now we should, lift this casing off. Try not to lose anything as I take it off. Shift rod stays in there. Okay. And that is sorted. Now, here I have some lumps of metal. See? The question is, where are they from? There's lots of them. Lots of them indeed. So where have they come out of? Let's clean that shit off. I mean, that would explain it, wouldn't it? A big lump missing out of my Jubu Racing final drive. There's a tooth missing. There's another tooth missing there. So it looks like final drive has simply given up. At least I know what's wrong with it. So this is the collection of teeth that came out of it. There's what, 6 of them? Sorry, 7, I left one there. This is a Jubu Racing final drive, so I don't know anyone that's broken one of these yet, but that is definitely broken. Now to work out what to do, and a conversation with Quaife, I suspect.